waiting for more people to come inside. Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Things Pan. That was our song of the day, Bazwadi by by Ray Holman. If you don't know, Mr. Ray Holman is a composer, arranger, steel pan performer from Trinidad and Tobago. He's arranged and recorded many songs with steel bands and artists from all over the world. He has also won many prestigious music awards. I thought I would give him his flowers because I just feel like why do we acknowledge people when they pass? When they're alive, you might as well give them props where it's due. If you hope you agree. So once again, welcome to All Things Pan. We're in season 2, episode 1. So excited to have you guys join me today, supporting what I'm doing and just sharing the love and the appreciation. I really, really love that. If you don't know, I am your host, Danielle George. We are sponsored by Pantastics 868. Make sure you check out their Instagram page. They have everything from tenor sticks, all the way up to bass sticks. So I suggest you check them out. Pantastics 868. I know we have some new followers. If you don't know, on this page we talk to panists, arrangers, builders, tuners, and pan enthusiasts like yourself. Pertaining to all things pan. So on that note, I would love you, Mr. Marcus Ash, Education Officer from Pan Trinbago. Just waiting for him to log on here. Hello, sir.
Hi, Danielle. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am fine. I am good. Keeping it cool. All is well on my end.
That's good. It's all I asked for. So before we start, I'd just like to let everyone know, and also you know, that near the end of the interview, I'll get everyone to ask some questions. So you may be on the hot seat for a bit, if you're okay with that.
I don't mind that. My name is Ash. I could be on a hot seat. I'm already burnt out.
Great. As long as you're cool with that, I'm good. So let's just start off with, tell us the roles and functions of Pan Trinbago.
Okay, so Pan Trinbago, what we know as the world's governing body for steel pan. Pan Trinbago it's not just a registered organization. It's an act of parliament. It was an act of parliament passed in 1986 by the then government. It gives Pan Trinbago full clearance to perform and execute their duties. Now, the role of Pan Trinbago is to promote the development of the steel band movement. Now, if you know about the steel band movement and in Trinidad and Tobago's history, the steel band movement is what is the oldest cultural movement in the entire Caribbean, in the country Caribbean. The steel band movement is older than the PNM and the UNC. Politics-wise, we are old. Right. Although it's been incorporated in 1986, it's been around since the 1950s. So they would have had different incarnations of it, and we came to Pan Trinbago in 1986. Pan Trinbago is also the holder of the nation's highest award at that time, the Trinity Cross Award. So besides to promote the development of the steel band movement, we also have to promote steel pan as a cultural indigenous art form. So that is also listed there in Parliament. Pan Trinbago's job is to present, manage, conduct any shows, concert events, provide financial aid or awards, prizes, anything like that regarding to anything steel pan related, which is why a lot of people come to Pan Trinbago for endorsements, because another thing is to cooperate with any other association whose objectives are similar. So an endorsement or a partnership between the organization and anyone else is usually something that is sought after with Pan Trinbago. It's to protect the welfare of the members of steel bands, that is Pan Trinbago's responsibility, and to encourage and conduct, and this is my portfolio here, the research programs of the steel band.
Okay.
So that's just a summary of what Pan Trinbago's responsibility as provided by the laws of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. So do you guys plan on expanding from Trinidad to other countries, or are you just focused on Trinidad right now?
Well, actually, I am currently in the process as education officer. We're currently searching, and I'm midway there now, where we'll be selecting about a dozen ambassadors around the world who will represent the affairs of steel pan wherever in the world you are, whether it's North America, Europe, London, Asia, Africa, wherever in the world you are, where you are tasked with representing this steel band body in that zone, that area. So very soon Canada will have their representative as well. So we are in the process of doing that. Partly, one of the main goals of those people is not just to represent our affairs, but to also develop. We are in a phase where we are looking at youth development, education and research in that field. So once they're willing to work in that area, definitely what we're looking for.
Nice, nice. So as the education officer of Pan Trinbago, how did you get involved?
All right. I If I tell you how I even got involved in music, you will laugh. I think everybody here would laugh because I really got involved in music after I lost a bet.
Oh,
It was March 5th, 2002. I lost a bet and I ended up having to do a music class for 1 month, and that's how I got involved in music.
okay.
And everything else after that bet was me floating in the wind. So it's like I ended up in university studying music. I ended up in the National Seal Orchestra. I ended up in Silver Stars, where I am right now, if you see the sign behind there. I ended up in Pan Trinbago as the Secretary of the Eastern Region, and then just going with the flow, I ended up in Pan Trinbago Central Executive. If you had asked me 10 years ago, if you had told me 10 years ago, Marcus, you will be an executive member of Pan Trinbago, I would have laughed hysterically, because that is not something that I saw myself in.
Right.
Not now, not then, and it just happened.
Okay. So you just fell into it. Is what you're
Yeah, yeah.
saying. That's so funny. So, for those that don't know, August was Steel Pan Month, and September 11th was Steel Pan Day. Why did you guys pick August out of all the days of the year?
Well, Marcus Ashe or even Beverly Ramsey Moore didn't pick August. August being Steel Pan Month. This is the 28th anniversary of August being Steel Pan Month.
Okay.
It would have been in August when we would have had steel pan declared the national instrument by the late Patrick Manning. It would have been in August. When that happened, August became Steel Pan Month then. On the 11th of August, this is the second year we're celebrating World Steel Band Day as an actual official day. Last year it would have been on the second Sunday of the month. However, we would have had it on the second Sunday again, but it fell on the same day with the church service. So we kept it strictly on the 11th and then. So where it would have originally remained second Sunday thing, it's now just on that day. So we do the celebrations on the day itself being the 11th.
Okay.
And as you know, Steel Pan Month will have a month long of activities, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but all over the world, where everybody do something for Pan.
Yeah.
So it's just one of the calendar events, that 11th, and from the 1st to the 31st, we just go.
Right.
We plan that calendar months in advance.
That's good. Well, I definitely learned a lot during that month, so I appreciate it. So, seeing that we're in a pandemic right now, and you represent Steel Pan in Trinidad and Tobago, what are your future plans for Pan?
Okay, so well, it depends on plan because a lot of people think Pan Trinbago and Panorama
Hmm.
is the end all.
Right.
So I would say we've had deliberations on the executive where we came together, not just the central executive, but the region executive who would have gone back to their bands to figure out the way forward. How are we going to treat it Panorama first? With regards to Panorama, one, we are not in support of a virtual panorama, and I'll explain why before I get killed by the viewers. We are in support of postponing the event to maintain the cultural significance of it, and I don't think that the virtual effect would be the same.
Right.
However, we are open to having a virtual event for Steel Pan at the usual time of year that Carnival is held, but we
Hmm.
won't call it a panorama. So we would give it a different name, give it a different branding, and go once the health regulations permit such.
Right.
Now, depending on the situation, at the end of the day, we're looking at doing something at that time. Once the health regulations permit, even if it's soloists, even if it's group of 25, however, we will accommodate and go forward there with something virtually. But as of now, it does not look promising for a carnival in general. And this is something that all interest groups had to come up with. Pan, Mass, Calypso, Soca, everybody had to come up with their recommendations for going forward.
Hmm.
Besides Panorama, well, I mean, Steel Band Month should have given a slight hint of where we're heading to because we had to keep things moving. And the pandemic was it's a blessing in disguise
Yeah.
where we were able to really dig deep within ourselves to find ways to be able to express ourselves. So we had Renegade Steel Orchestra with the Beat the Pandemic.
Hmm.
We had bands like Cats and Jammers, Starlive, even Renegades and Invaders, and they would have come together and they did their virtual performances.
Yeah.
We had a lot of online stuff. We had the Panorama, big up to Nevin Roach if
Yes.
he's here. That was a well produced show.
Yes.
We had the Panorama J online, first time for that.
Hmm.
So we had many different events. And then in August, every single day and night, you go on Pan Trinbago's Facebook page and there's either a live event, something going on where we keep everybody active.
Yeah.
That over 20,000 followers that we have, it's a constituency, so we have to cater for them no matter what the situation is.
Right. Right. Wow. Well, I appreciate it. So, just to give you a little info about me,
Mhm.
I go to a lot of schools and teach a bit about Pan and play Pan or Pan for the schools. And when I'm done, the principals or the music teacher will ask me, how do I get Pan into my school? So I do my research, they do their research. Is there a way, do you guys have like a syllabus that the music teachers can use in North America or any parts of the world? Or is there like one area they can just all go to and just be like, I need pans, how much is it gonna cost? How can we ship it here?
Okay, so that's two parts.
Yeah.
Part one, in terms of the supply of the steel pans and stuff,
Hmm.
I'm glad to have this conversation today with you because just this morning, what we have now, Pan Trinbago has a drum factory. We produce the drums
Hmm.
for the production of steel pan. And we have material that will be landing there tomorrow where
Right.
drums would be made available. Our builders and tuners would then purchase them. They would make the pans and then we ship it outside. Now, just recently, this year actually, in Montserrat, we got a request similar to what you're saying there. So they would have wanted an ensemble to set up in Montserrat. So they sent an email to Pan Trinbago. We were able to get the materials, build the drums, get the tuner to make it, ship it across with some steel pan literature to aid in teaching. We were able to organize now a tuner, teacher to go across there with a Pan Trinbago official where they would then be able to so the teacher's job is not just to teach pan, but also to teach teachers how to teach
Right.
pan.
Right.
The tuner will teach crash course on how to maintain the instrument and stuff. And of course, if push comes to shove, we always have our tuners ready to fly. In a situation like what we are now, that is almost impossible.
Right.
So we just have to find a way to deal with that part. Now, with the actual teaching of the steel pan, what I had on the table, and the president of Pan Trinbago had already endorsed, and we were looking to go forward, and it was on the calendar for this year. However, it couldn't happen. I don't believe that there is one way to teach steel pan.
Right.
So I saw on the live here we have Stefan West. Stefan West is in Israel as I speak right now. How he has to teach Jews and Arabs on different day and then bring them together. Each type has a different style and a different type of music that they can and cannot play and those things.
Right.
You have persons in Canada, you have persons in Japan, you have persons right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and this is a multicultural society.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there is one way to teach, because I believe you have fishes, monkeys, elephants, and they all have to climb the tree. You can't teach them the same way. You can't give them the same method.
Right.
You understand? So what we came up with, we have a lot of educators, both locally and internationally, who came up with their styles and different pedagogies there where they have their different teaching methods. And this year we were supposed to have an international educational steel pan educational conference where we would have invited educators from all over the world to both attend as a participant where you're taking in the lectures, as well as to present your papers in terms of how you do it, because everyone has different style.
Right.
How you learned may not be how I learned. Many people think that you can't start a child with the ABRSM or Trinity exams where you're learning A, C, E, G, all cows eat grass, or GBDFA, Gary brother died from AIDS, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
You can't teach everybody that way.
Right.
I am a classically trained musician. I played all the Mozart, the Tchaikovskys, the Beethovens, etc.
Right.
If I look at somebody like Taisha Alexander, who learned from Rote or something, and she solos and stuff like that, that's how she came up. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't be able to, I won't be able to solo, or she won't be able to read. But it's how we learned and then developed. So you have to find different ways. So Dr. Kim Johnson have his way where he believe in training the ears and eyes. And I could understand what he's saying. So it's all about sharing the different perspectives and knowing your target audience, the age group, the demographic that you're working with, and having all those things combined. So if Canada calls now and they say, well, we need some instruments and we need to teach, I can ask, okay, what is the demographic? Is it teens we're dealing with? Is it preschool? Is it university? And we could go from there in terms of how we approach teaching those individuals.
Right. Okay. Good to know. We'll talk after.
Yeah. No problem.
So we talked a bit about Pan Trinbago. Let's get to know you a bit.
Get to know me.
Let's go. We touched a bit about it earlier. Let's get in more depth about it. So who is Marcus Ash?
Marcus Ash, I don't want to get too technical because there is no technical definition. I am whoever anybody sees me as. I am
Okay.
just, I, there are many people who see me on a daily basis and I am a beast because my face is always serious. And
Mm-hmm.
truly it is. The one thing COVID has done for me is cover that mouth so people are not that afraid of me anymore. There are other people who see me as a very cool person. They enjoy the conversations and stuff. There are some people who like, let me get out as well. There are some people like, good morning, good afternoon, and they're gone.
Right.
Whichever way it is, I don't have a way. I just go with the flow. I respect everybody. Don't mind their walk of life. I give everybody a chance to prove themselves, whether good or bad, and I just go with the flow and enjoy my life. My life is a roller coaster. It's an adventure, and that in itself is who I am, an adventure.
Okay, okay, good to know. Good to know. So you touched a bit about that you got into Pan from a bet.
Yes.
Yes. So is there a certain Pan that you play? Do you play them all? Is there one? Do you have a go-to Pan?
I played any pan, but the pan that many people would have known me for, at least
Mm-hmm.
during Panorama, I played the cello. I was not the frontline type. Well,
Okay.
let me don't say that because I always played in the front line, but I didn't see I was not fan of the tenor and them thing where all them sort of notes and thing. Let me play my cello and balance it with notes and strum, according to
Oh,
who arranging, of course.
of course, of course. So who was the first? Did you play Pan in school, like in primary school, or did you just go straight to?
I would have been in secondary school actually.
Okay.
Uh, that would have been in 2002. I lost a bet. I how that happened? I lived a corner. I live Lavantil. Now, if you know
Okay.
about Lavantil in Trinidad, it's probably the worst place you could hear
Mm-hmm.
about in Trinidad. But
Yeah.
that's where I born and grew up.
Okay.
And and in growing up Lavantil, you didn't want to really go outside too much. But I had a way that I normally like to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the community center, and they said, well, they made the bet I lost, so I had to do the music class there at that facility. Um, Going back to school now, during the day, I thought that I was the greatest musician out. Little did I know that the C major scale didn't say nothing. And I started doing music in school. When I left school, which was Southeast Port of Spain Government Secondary,
Mm-hmm.
um, my plan, had it been up to me, would have been to do a double major in history and literature.
Okay.
I love reading, I love researching, I like doing papers and those things. No doubt I'm an education officer now. And my then teacher approached me and she was like, why don't you try out to go to UE and do music? I was like, mm.
Right.
I started marketing instead.
Okay.
So I started studying marketing and then I branched over to music as well. So with marketing and music happening,
Mm-hmm.
eventually I graduated from both. I went into the bachelor's in music after, and there I just went off.
Okay. Interesting. So do you
Yeah.
call yourself a soloist or are you just a pan player? How would you classify yourself?
I classify myself as retired. It's been 2 years since I've played a pan. I've
Really?
not played a pan in 2 years. And I would have retired officially on the 10th of July 2018.
Okay.
I was a member of the National Steel Symphony Orchestra back then.
Okay.
And at that point, with everything that was going on in Pan, uh, I was out. As far as I concerned, I did not want to play Pan. I didn't want anything to do with Pan. That was one of the lowest years in my life where music and steel pan is concerned. Fortunately for me, I had other things that I could fall back on, like the marketing. I did
Mm-hmm.
business. I could go back into history and literature. I could do whatever I want. So I retired from playing, and then I said, that's it. I'm also retired from working for anybody.
Okay.
So yeah, I opened some businesses, and I was like, that's it. And the businesses were operating for themselves, so I didn't have to go in and work at it. So I started traveling. I mean, I always travel the world, but I just started spending the entire time outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, wow.
That was until the Pan Trinbago election came up later that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beverly Ramsey Moore asked me to jump on a slate. It was back and forth. Was I gonna do that thing? And I was like, I don't have nothing to lose. Let me go.
Right.
I had a plan, and I knew what I wanted to achieve when I get in, if I get in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I went forward, and
Okay.
I presented myself, and that was it.
Okay. So would you want to continue being the education officer of Pan Trinbago, or would you want to try something else? Get
um,
get more into it.
for me, I don't ever give myself an idea of where I want to go.
Mm.
Because I got into music by what I would call an accident, and everything just happened and evolved and evolved.
Mm-hmm.
I leave myself, let the universe do its job, and I'm just going with the flow. Wherever I decide to stop and turn a corner, I'm going to turn that corner, and I guarantee that there's something there to continue adding adventure to my life.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
So whether it's a change of position, whether it's a remain as education officer, maybe one day
Yeah.
I might be president, I don't know. We could all laugh at that now, eh? Better we laugh
You
at
heard
it
it
now.
here first, guys. You heard it here first.
One day, I don't know. But you never know how it go, and I just go with that flow.
Okay, okay. Back to Pan Trinbago. From where I am in Canada, we rarely hear or see anything about Youth Panorama. Do you plan on making that bigger when you guys get a chance to come back?
Yeah, well, what happened? We've had the Junior Panorama happening.
Mm-hmm.
We are gonna be the next time it comes back, we will do the live stream for it, because we realize it's no longer a national event where it's flooded with school children. We have
Right.
a lot of adults that look forward to tuning into it as and those things. So
Mm-hmm.
we will put it out there. It has it has certainly evolved. Those,
Right.
especially the 21 and under category,
Yeah.
is certainly playing. They will give big bands competition.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure.
we'll put it out.
Yeah.
It is our intent.
Good. Because I really look forward to it. How about with the schools? Are you going to do the same thing with that or just kind of keep it national?
Well, usually the schools is already online.
Okay.
Um, Usually TTT or one of those stations would do that, the primary and secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
But once we doing it, it all happen on the same day.
Mm.
So once we doing it live stream, we going from primary straight out.
Okay, cool. We'll look forward to it. So we're almost near the end. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm now on the hot seat, all
You're,
right.
yeah, you're now on the hot seat. Anyone have any questions? Is there anything else we should know about you? Like a fun fact that no one knows that
A
you
fun fact about
that you're
me.
willing to share?
Yeah, a fun fact or a weird fact about me. I That's nothing to do with music.
Okay.
I'm weird. I can read fluently upside down, and I can also say the alphabet backwards in probably less than 5 seconds.
Go.
Like WBETSRQP and MLKJHGFEDCBA.
Jeez. All right. How did you find out that you could do that?
Like I said, I don't believe in just learning what they teach you in school. I
Ah,
learn with the intention to question everything. So this is the alphabet, why it must be in that order, why I can't mix it up,
right.
why I can't start it from behind, and those are the things that I would question.
Okay. You're one of those kids like to question everything. So DHM has a question. What is your favorite Panorama arrangement?
My favorite Panorama arrangement. I don't think I have a favorite Panorama arrangement. I like Pan and I like Panorama.
Hmm.
So I like Pan. I like to listen to it. So there's no one arrangement that ever jumped out. Every year there will be at least 3 or 4 arrangements that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
If I am to mention some of my favorites, it wouldn't even be some that won Panorama.
Mm,
I have favorite arrangements in other categories, some that didn't win, some that didn't even place in finals,
right.
like my band this year.
Uh, we will move on. Pantastics 868, our sponsor, has a question. Will you be opening a pan store?
Yes, actually, it is already available. I use the social medias now. I have the location already. I was going to do a launch at the end of Panorama this year. However, COVID came and we closed up, and well, I wasn't going to open it part time and have
Right.
to pay someone. So I said, let's keep it online where after after this pandemic is over, we're gonna go full out. But it's up, it's registered, it's running. This store is one where you can get anything pan under one roof. So all brands of pans, pan sticks, cases, CDs, DVDs, books, anything related to pan under one
Okay.
roof. Yeah.
Would you tell us the name of the store and where we can find it?
Uh, I'd hold that in for now.
Okay. Okay. We'll look out for it then.
I'll message you after.
Cool, because I may buy some stuff. Pan Junkie has a question. Who is your favorite arranger between Bugsy and Ray Holman?
I don't have a favorite between those two. I think those two are very I don't like the idea of comparing
Hmm.
and a lot of my students and players in Silver Stars would hear me always say I don't like the comparison between who's better or not. No, it's not asking who's better, it's asking who's my favorite. But
Right.
I tend to have things that I like from each of them. And both Bugsy and Ray Holman have music, especially outside of Panorama and the Calypsos, that I really like. You were just playing the Bazadi from
Yes.
Holman.
Yeah.
There's this piece he did, Waltz for Iris. Iris was his mom, his late
Hmm.
mom. I love that piece, Playa Laga, The Changing Time. That's Ray
Yeah.
Holman. Had some good stuff.
Yeah.
Bugsy has Sunday Morning Funk, one of my
I for
favorite pieces from
I
him.
forgot about that one.
Sunday Morning Funk. Listen,
Yeah.
I listen to that on a Monday too.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Wow. Is there,
Yeah.
speaking of arrangers, is there one you find yourself going towards listening to, or do you just kind of listen to everyone
I
equally?
listen to everyone and most of the arrangers that I got a lot of solid advice from and stuff where I gravitated towards. Most of them are dead. So
Hmm.
Clive Bradley was one who would have taught me a number of stuff in 2004 and 2005 before he passed away.
Right.
Edwin Pouchette of Silver Stars, I learned a lot from him.
Hmm.
Pat Bishop is one who trained me to read music, so you understand I don't miss a note.
Right.
So a lot of the my arrangers are now dead. Ken Professor Fillmore and I were very good friends. We sit down on the beach and talk music whole day while everybody else working hard on their 8 to 4 job.
Hmm.
They're all going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kern Somerville has a question about Pan Trinbago's perspective. Is there a plan of having a grand steel pan museum?
Oh yeah, that was even since in the manifesto. I would have mentioned that. It's not just a pan museum. It's to be 3 levels. So what we're looking at is be on the ground, like a pan museum, where you walk in, you see all the different pan where we came from African drum, tambu, bamboo, coming into pan and stuff. In the next floor, it will be like a library for Pan where every book, article, thesis, anything written on steel pan would be made available there, even a newspaper clipping. You walk in there, you're doing research, you go there and you get that. And then the final part would be a music archive where every recorded steel pan music is available there as well. It's meant to generate tourism as well as a revenue for the steel band movement. I always tell people, and I make and that's a very good question, Kern Somerville. A very, very good question because when I came in, I was adamant. I said, if you go Japan, there's a ramen museum.
Yeah.
If you go to Jamaica, there's a Bob Marley museum. So why the hell, when I land out of that airport there, I cannot find a Silton museum when that is ours?
Yeah.
And it's time that we really start fixing our business.
I agree. Do you guys have an idea on where you want to put it?
Right there on the land that is Pan Trinbago zone, it's right there. It's going to be built, and you will hear about that land in time to come very soon.
Nice, nice. So DHM has another question. Are tuning workshops something to be introduced all year round?
Well, more than workshops, actually, because you have MIC, which is a tertiary level institution. MIC actually has a course, a two or 3 year course in steel band manufacturing, and they teach not just tuning, but manufacturing, welding, upkeeping the instrument, all those different things. They put it in an actual course where you do that over a number of years. And there are people from outside looking to come to start that now. You have UTT had some steel pan tuning classes there. I'm not sure what's going on now with this pandemic, if it will still continue. But you have to big up the Academy for Performing Arts in Port of Spain there at Napa. They really are bringing courses there to really cover grandscape, especially for their steel pan majors.
Right.
You have UE is looking at that direction as well. And we also have the Tuners Guild in Trinidad and Tobago, which is made up of a lot of the tuners there. Their job, they would do workshops and stuff like that as well. And we have a good bit of young tuners coming up who went through some of those programs as well.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So wait, it's a 3-year program to learn how to tune pans?
Sorry?
It's a 3-year program in Trinidad to tune pans and to build?
If it's a free program?
A 3-year.
Oh yeah, it's about a 3 year. It's about a
Okay.
3 year program. The one in MIC, that is. UTT, they have about 2 courses, and one of the UTT students, they could correct me, I think either 2 or 3 courses in pan tuning built in as options for their students to gain extra credits.
Oh, did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions? Is there anything else you want us to know about Pan Trinbago and what their plans are? Or how about you? Anything for you in the future?
Well, I think with Pan Trinbago, I did give out most of our operations and how we're doing. As you know, with the pandemic, we are forced to minimize staff and what we can do.
Right.
Our members were affected by the pandemic, and we were able to form Pan Trinbago's Social Prosperity Fund, where we would have raised money. When that money was raised, we would have given out food hampers, medical hampers, school grants, book grants, different assistance to our membership who would have been affected in any way. This is an ongoing thing. It's not a one-time thing. It's not here for Kobo Sweat where I die out in 6 months' time. We are continuing to go and do our drive. So anybody listening here that would like to contribute could go to Pan Trinbago's website and stuff and find out how you can make a contribution, as well as if you would like to if you would like to sign up for assistance, you can also do that. And we'd be happy to review the application and give that assistance where necessary, because this is a hard time right now for all of us.
For sure, for sure. I understand you guys did a telethon, I think it was 2 months back. Are you guys going to be doing another one?
We have to. The president and I had a
Please,
lot of fun hosting that telethon.
you guys have to do that again.
Yes, it was a lot of fun there in the as soon as we could get more than 5 persons in the studio, because
Uh-huh.
we want the telethon to be not just online. We want it exciting in the background.
Hmm.
And the excitement in the background is what hyped that telethon. And that night we raised a lot of funds. And
That's
we
good.
thank everybody for their contributions.
Yes, it was an amazing event. It needs to happen again, so make that happen.
We will.
Okay. All right. So Kern has a comment. I'd like to publicly commend Pan Trinbago's new movement where you are all reaching out to the Pan people. So we applaud you for that.
What we have to do. It's what that is. Listen, and I want to assure everybody listening.
Hmm.
You may have in the past heard about Pan Trinbago and it's always a bacchanal or some kind of negative something. And in most cases, you all are quite correct. Even I myself had to say stuff about that organization called Pan Trinbago in the past, which is
Right.
why I said earlier when I started that I would have laughed hysterically if you had said I would have been in Pan Trinbago. But what I also want to say is no organization is perfect.
Right.
And on this executive, we have done a lot to accommodate a lot of the, we had to accommodate a lot of the pain that the membership was going through and try to see how best we could massage that, help that situation while still move forward as an organization.
Hmm.
And even the pandemic would have hit, it would have slapped us across the face midway. But as soon as we were seeing progress, all right, stop, all you're moving too quickly.
Right.
That, but we are there. I tell anybody, anything youth related, education, research, technology, anything like that, whether it, even if it to the social prosperity fund, anything like that. My number is public information, and I tell people 368-3435, call me. That's Pan
Right.
Trinbago paying that bill. Call.
Right.
Let
Okay.
us have that dialogue. Let's see where we go. That's my job, is to work for the PAN members.
Uh-huh.
My job is to work for the Silvan movement. At
Right.
least for the next 3 years. You never know after this. I might be gone on a cruise and never come back to it. Or I might be in a different position. Or I might be right here for another term. However it go, I am here now. And we, the president, has been accommodating.
Hmm.
Call, come in, tell us, send us a message. I try to answer. I'm working on my time frame and responding to WhatsApp, but I tend to usually get back to people. So
Okay.
we have that communication up.
That's good. So are you the person that we can call at like 3 o'clock in the morning? Or
Actually,
do you have
that's the
to?
hours when I'm up and working very hard.
Okay, good to
I
know.
don't I don't wake before 10 in the morning, so if you call, you'll just have to leave your number and I'll get back to you.
Okay, good to know.
I saw a question came in there from
Yeah,
Yundi
Young
Vibe.
Divided. What is the best way, aside from knowing the right people, to get on the slate for a region?
To get on the slate for. Oh, so like regional executive. If
Hmm.
you, first to begin with, if you want to run for a regional executive position, as long as you are a member of a steel band within that region, you are entitled to run, whether as an independent candidate or on a slate. Most people join slates to strengthen their chances of getting in.
Hmm.
Uh, but I've seen independent people go through and get in. Even in the last regional executive, with the Eastern region, an independent candidate got in and is vice chairman today. So you can, as long as you are a member of a band within that region and your band is financial, you are allowed to contest that executive. You go around and campaign. And I'll give one word of advice to anybody who intend on running in a Pan Trinbago election, whether regional, where I was the secretary for the Eastern region prior to being on Central Executive.
Hmm.
If you intend to run on Central Executive, one piece of advice I will give you all. You only campaign once.
Oh,
After that, it's only your work will keep you there. You
okay.
only campaign Once. My campaign was in the Eastern region back in 2015. Once. After that, your name, based on how you work, is going to keep you there.
Okay. Good to know.
Take it from me.
Hope everyone's taking notes.
I saw Lauren Pierre, the new treasurer of Pan Trinbago, is online there. And Lauren would tell you that Lauren and I would have went through the Eastern region before we got through there. And Lauren and I are the two youngest members in Pan Trinbago's executive.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's good. We need to get more young people in there.
I agree.
Yeah.
But we still need to have the older ones around as well, because you need the experience with the new ideas.
Yeah.
And I think this executive has balanced that.
Yeah. So you're with, what band are you with again? Sorry, Silver Stars?
My band is Silver Stars Steel Orchestra, the Nutrient Silver Stars Steel. And Nutrient is a Canadian company, yeah?
I know.
Nutrient Silver Stars Steel Orchestra.
So you said you're the educator there? You're the arranger?
The director, drill master, anything like that you want to call it. I'm basically the person that ran the rehearsal outside of the pandemic.
Outside. So you guys have not been practicing, is what you're saying?
We have not practiced, no. I am not gonna lie, I am enjoying the little vacation.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Does anyone have any more questions before we call this interview over?
Any questions?
Any questions? Any comments?
Akina, good night.
Yeah. Well, before we go, I just want to say thank you for being on this show. I appreciate it. I honored. Didn't know who you are until I saw your picture. I was like, oh, you're Marcus.
I'm glad to be here, and I usually make myself available for anything. So I'm happy for the invitation.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it open.
We'll definitely. When I start going back into schools, I will give them your number so you guys can get that connection going.
And I'll send you my email as well.
Okay, I will do that. I really appreciate, again, you coming on. I appreciate everyone watching. Does anyone have any more questions? Oh, wait, I saw one question. How's the experience so far being in Pan Trinbago?
It's been an adventure, as I said. I have learned a lot. As much as I've had to teach, I've definitely learned a lot. I really learned a lot about people inside there and in the Pan movement in general. I really have to give kudos to Beverly Ramsey Moore, my political mother, or mother in the Pan world. And I really think that she has been very supportive, not just of the myself in Pan Trinbago, but she really has a passion for young people and youth development and youth education and those things. And that's why, if she didn't have that passion, you wouldn't have seen so much of me within the last year and a half, because my position would have been just send, all right, you just sit in a corner and get your stipend at the end of the month.
Right.
She really saw the need for that role as education officer and what it covers. And she had supported a lot of initiatives that I've had. She's encouraged me all the time to continue working. She enjoys seeing the results of the work. And she even shows up and roll up her sleeves and get dirty doing the work as well. And other executive members, I said Lauren is here, she could testify to that. She supports us, the young ones and the executive. She teaches us, all right, maybe you shouldn't do that. Do it this way, and you learn a lot. So when the executive change over, because eventually older ones may have to retire, and then you never know, I may have another position, we would be able to pass on that to who comes in here. And Beverly, what they can't beat her with, she has political experience. She has experience in the public sector. She has experience in business, and it took all that experience to come together and put that lady as a president.
Yeah.
For her to accommodate that, and she was never an autocratic leader. She allowed us to do our thing and guide us along, and yeah, I really appreciate that. So,
Yes.
and that's what Pan Trinbago taught me this time.
Yes. I'm glad. And everyone needs to know that and have the same skills that she has because
Yes,
it
big
it
up
makes
Beverly.
yes. Oh, well, once again, yes, I want to thank you for coming on our show. I want to thank everyone
Thanks for having
supporting.
me.
Of course, I want to thank everyone for supporting me. Please share. You can, if you miss part of this, you can watch it later. It's always gonna be on my page. And hope to see you guys next week.
Take care, Daniel.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.